will cost you. It's very unfair. And IT applications, software applications, the requirements are so dynamic because of the competition. The changes are inevitable. The customer will ask for some changes. Certain changes or certain requirements might have slipped off his mind, and he may not have given those changes in the first place, or certain requirements maybe you have observed later during the development phase. So all these stages will happen only once in a lifetime. So I will gather all the requirements at the starting, I will design, I will build it, I will test it, and then I will make it live. So all these things will happen only once in a lifetime, right? Whereas if you do the same project in Agile methodology, be it Scrum or DSD method, there are different flavors in Agile, but end of the day, all follows the Agile principles. If you do the same, so you will come to me and say, hey Ram, you want to, I want a portal to be built, e-commerce portal. So I will ask, what are the major features or high-level features that you're going to want? So you'll say, hey, I need a product catalog. I need a search bar where the users can search for the products what they want, and they can narrow down their search. And I want to add to cart. Perfect. I want a payment gateway. Perfect. I want some reviews option. I want some coupons option. So I will take all the high-level requirements. I don't go to a detailed level that in the payment gateway, whether you should accept American Express card or use MasterCard or Visa card. I will not go to that level. I don't go to that low level or to that granular level. So I will leave it at a very high level. Okay, you need a payment gateway. Okay, majorly you need these cards. Never, right? I don't go into that detail. So I will take all the high level requirements. And tentatively I agree, hey, with these requirements, it may take 1 year. It's a tentative. It's not fixed, right? Tentatively 1 year. So within this 1 year, whatever the requirements you want, I will deliver. You need not give me all the requirements at one go. So initially you give me some 20 requirements, which are of high priority, and let me deliver that. And I will gather only those requirements which are of high priority, which are must in any e-commerce site. So what are the features that are must in any e-commerce site? Can you answer? What are must in any e-commerce site? Are very of high priority. You can chat in the chat window, or you can, yeah. Please feel free. Let us make the session interactive. Let us discuss, right? So what features? No, you all okay? Search for the product. Very good. Product information. Yeah. So product information is very, very important. Where the products will be displayed, right? Their features will be displayed. The price will be displayed. Product catalog is very important. Yeah. And add to cart. Yes. If you have to buy multiple products at one go, you cannot check out every time. If you want to buy 5 products, no, you cannot check out every time. So add to cart is important. Right? So search option is very important. There may be some thousands of products that are available, but if you want to narrow down to the product what you are looking for without a search bar, it becomes humanly impossible, right? Or it will just eat away the customer's time, and the customers may leave your website. So these are all of high priority features what I will collect. So maybe in the first release I will try to give all these requirements. So I will take those 20 requirements which are of highest importance. There may be many other requirements which are of less priority, of least importance, just like about us page. How many times you went to Flipkart or Amazon and you checked the about us page? Not in a single time, if you can recall. Or terms and conditions. You never even look into it, right? So what you do, I will collect only those requirements which are of highest priority out of this 1000, and I will design those requirements, and then I will build those requirements, and then I will test and I will release it. So in the first iteration, normally we call it as an iteration. Iteration is nothing but a time period within which I will be releasing some working software. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 1 month, but not more than 2 months. So this 1 year project, what I am doing, I am dividing into smaller chunks. So I will gather the requirements only related to this first highest priority 20 requirements, and I'll say that, hey, these 20 requirements I will deliver in 2 months, and I will divide that work into iterations. So every 2 weeks. So first 2 weeks I call it as one iteration. Second 2 weeks, I can call it as second iteration. And the next 2 weeks, third iteration. So I'm dividing it. So first iteration, I will build you the product catalog. Second iteration, I will build you the search. Third iteration, I will build you the payment gateway. Fourth iteration, I will build you the add to cart. And by fourth or fifth iteration, I will give you the first release with which you can start selling your products. Remember, in any product, 55% of the features are never used. 50 to 55% depends upon the type of the product. Let us take example of your Excel sheet. In your Excel sheet, how many features you use? Not even hardly 5%. Or let us take the example of your mobile. How many features you always use or often use? There will be many features that are available in the mobile that you are not even aware that they are available. Yeah. So what Agile says is, why do you want to deliver the features which are never used or which are hardly used? So they do the prioritization of the features, and then they will divide it into iterations. So the first iteration, they release some features. The second iteration, they release some features. In third iteration, they release a few more features which are prioritized, and they will deliver it. So by first release, I will give them the minimum marketable features, MMF, or minimum viable features. We call it as MMF, or minimum viable features. The minimum features that are required for you to start using it. Let me take the example of a project where you are building a bicycle. Let us say you are building a bicycle. In a bicycle, which are of the most important, with which you can start using the bicycle? Two tires are important, brakes are important, the skeleton is important, painting is not important for you to start using it. The carriage to carry the luggage on the behind is not important. A horn or to honk or a bell is not so important. Or some look and feel aspects for a bicycle, people put some sort of designs and all, it's not important. So in the first release, what I will do, I'll give the skeleton, I'll give the brakes, I'll give the tires. I may not give you the seat also to sit. Even without a seat, still you can start using it. So what are the minimum features that are required for you to start using it? I will give that. So when I can do that, only when I can do the prioritization of features. So you prioritize in terms of business value. Is it required for an e-commerce site to start using it? Is it so important? So when you start prioritizing, what you will do, you will have high value items at the top and low value or least frequently used items at the bottom. So you may discard those. As a customer, you may discard those. Because as I told you, 55% of the features are never used in most of the products, 50 to 55%. And to your surprise, 11% of the features are always or most often used. So if I give this 11% features, one can start using the application. So the time to market will be reduced in Agile. What do you mean by time to market? We call it as TTM. How soon you can go to market with this and you can start using it. So in the earlier case, if the e-commerce site is done in a traditional project management way, as a customer, you have to wait 1 year to start your business. If the same e-commerce site, if it is built in Agile way, you can start using it in 3 months, because we are giving most frequently used or must have or should have features in an e-commerce site. As a customer, you can start the business in 3 months. And later, with each iteration, you'll start adding the features which are rarely used or less frequently used. You'll start adding those features because they're less frequently used. Even without that, you can still survive. Right? So this is how the projects in Agile are done. So we don't give any big bang delivery in Agile. We give in a phased manner. We give iteration to iteration. I told you, iteration is a time period within which you will be delivering the features to the customer. So it could be a 2 weeks iteration, 3 weeks iteration, 4 weeks iteration, but not more than two months, not more than 8 weeks. And multiple iterations will give you one release. As I told you, first iteration I'll give you the search bar. The second iteration I'll give you the add to cart. Third iteration I'll give you the payment gateway, right? And fourth iteration give you the product catalog. These are sufficient to start the business. So in the first release, I'll give you these most important features that are required for as a customer to start the business, and you can start the business right away. The time to market will be very less in Agile. And one more advantage with Agile is you do the testing very frequently. How frequently you do it? Every iteration you do it. Because every iteration you will collect the requirements, you design it, you are going to build it, you are going to test it, you are going to release it to life. Remember, we are doing all these activities in traditional also, but we are doing only once in a lifetime. So testing is done at the back end of the project. If something goes wrong, then the rework will be very costly for you. Though you are doing testing only once, but that failure is very costly because you are doing at the back end of the project. Whereas here, for every feature or for some set of features in that iteration, we are testing it. So we are testing it more frequently. So the quality of the products in Agile will be better because you do the testing every iteration. Not only the unit testing, you do an integration testing with the existing product. Let us say already I have developed this product and now I have added some more functionality. This I have added. Now I will test this unit. At the same time, I will do the testing of integration also, the regression testing, right? So that's what we do, the regression testing every time. So most of the times, as a standalone, these units work very well. But when you integrate with the existing product, they start acting weird. In such cases, we do the regression testing, right? So the effort of testing increases. Yes, of course. Of course, as I told you, the effort may increase, you may fail, but this failure is not so costly. You may test only once in traditional project management at the end for the entire product, but that failure is very, very costly. You may have to sabotage the entire project also. You may have to scrap the entire project also. So there are distinctive advantages when you deliver the products with Agile. That's the reason Agile is becoming very, very prominent in IT environment. So it's worth taking that effort, given the quality, right? And even if you fail, only you fail at this level, at this unit level. The rework, what you do only will be confined to this level, right? So this is the beauty of Agile. There are so many final differences between Agile and traditional, which I'm not going to walk through because of the time constraints. Our topic for this webinar is different. So this is a fundamental difference between traditional and Agile. In traditional, we give the entire product at the end of the project in a big bang way. Whereas in Agile, we do it in an incremental manner. So we develop the product in an incremental manner. And we don't take all the detailed requirements in the first place in Agile, unlike what you do in traditional project management. Right? Customer requirements tend to change. It's very difficult to ask the customer to change not to ask him not to change the requirements. How many of you, I'm talking about the males, probably go to a supermarket? No? Your wife will ask you to go to a supermarket. She'll give a list of 10 provisions to be brought from the supermarket. You go there. How many times you should have received a phone while you are in the supermarket? Hey, instead of half kg, you get 1 kg. Instead of tea powder, you get coffee. Instead of surf, you get me Ariel. Even while you are at the POS, point of sale, that the billing is done, you will get a phone call. Have you finished the billing? I have 2 more items to be added, I forgot. Or just now, the mother asked to include to get these also, right? Or even while you are about to reach home, then also you will get a call. Hey, a few more items has to be added to the list, or this need to be changed. All of you might have experienced. Wife and husband, they know each other so well, and you know the requirements. The more of a mundane requirement you have every month, same items you would be using more or less. 10 to 15 requirements she will give you, and in a span of 1 hour, she will change 2 to 3 times. Just imagine a customer environment. where the technology is complex, requirements are very hazy for the customer. He doesn't know in the first place. Thousands of requirements. What are the chances for the requirements to tend to change? Very, very high. Very, very high. Isn't it? So, these requirements tend to change, and Agile will embrace the change. Agile welcome the changes even at the fag end of the development, because we believe there's nothing is permanent in this world but change. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, this is about Agile methodology, right? There are so many other differences as well. Okay. Now, in Agile, in most of the frameworks, there are many frameworks in Agile. So let me tell you what these frameworks are or flavors are, and then we'll go to the estimation techniques. Agile is a bigger umbrella, remember that. Under Agile, with slight variations, different bodies, they introduce different frameworks. For example, most popular framework is, our methodology is Scrum. And we have extreme programming, XP. We have DSD method. There are many. So what are these different frameworks? If you see, all follow Agile principles. Like, we should not give a big bang delivery in the first place. We should give in a phased manner. It should be done in iterations, right? Requirements tend to change, right? All these principles remain the same, but slight variations. Scrum says your iteration length should be 1 to 4 weeks, or 2 to 4 weeks. Of late they're saying 2 to 4 weeks, right? 2 to 4 weeks or 1 to 4 weeks. XP says your iteration size should be only 2 weeks. But end of the day, both are following the word called iteration. Normally in Scrum they call it as sprint. In other methodologies they call it as iteration. Here Scrum says your team size should be 3 to 9 members. XP says your team size can go till 20 members, because they are doing it in 2 weeks. So increase the team size, right? These are the slight variations, but end of the day, the philosophy remains the same. So, for example, let us say, if Agile, if you consider it as a Chinese cuisine, you all know Chinese cuisine, no? Chinese food, Chinese cuisine. In Chinese, from country to country, there will be different flavors. In India, we use garam masala and other masalas, and we call it as Indo-Chinese. If you go to Thailand, they call it as Thai Chinese. If you go to Malaysia, Malay Chinese. In original China, there will be the typical conventional Chinese. The ingredients what they are use may slightly change, but end of the day, the way how they cook, the vegetables what they use, right, and using the soya sauce, Ajinomoto, they all remain the same. Only if you have those, then it call it as change. The vinegar, right? Only then we call it as change. So the principles remain the same, but with slight variations, right? So very similarly, if Agile you see it as a god, these are all religions. These are all religions. Slight variations. One says you have to pray for 5 times a day. One religion says you have to pray for at least once a day. One religion says that on Sundays you have to pray. But end of the day, the philosophy remains the same, that you have to pray the God. So very similar to that, these are the different flavors. There are different bodies. Scrum Alliance and Scrum.org, they came up with Scrum, right? And Exelos, they came with DSDM. Slight variation. The roles names will change. Here we call it as a Scrum Master. In XP, we may call him as a project manager or the team leader, right? But the philosophy remains the same. The philosophy of Agile, the principles we call, the manifesto, what we call, it remains the same, right? So these are the different frameworks what we have in Agile. There are many other frameworks. You have, but these are the 3 popular frameworks. Most of the frameworks, they have become redundant and obsolete now. They are not in use, right? So, like many religions, people even don't know that these religions were existing. You know, for good old days, they were existing. Very similar to that. So, certain methodologies or certain frameworks, they are not very active, right? Now, let us jump into the estimation techniques. Normally, 2 types of estimations we do. by and large. One is effort estimation, that is scheduled. Effort estimation, it will take 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Schedule estimations we do, and cost estimations. Today our focus will be on effort estimation, right? In Agile, most of the methodologies, they convert the features into user stories. So let us try to understand what a user story is. So a feature will be converted into small story sort of thing, right? To explain that. For example, your customer asked to create a cancel button. You are building a online ticket booking site like Make My Trip or something where you can book the flight tickets or hotel ticket, hotel reservations you can do, right? There's something called as cancel booking, right? This is a feature. The cancel booking is a person who has already done the booking. If he wants to cancel, it can be done. So this feature they write in the form of a story. As an end user who booked the ticket, I want to cancel my ticket so that I can get my money back and I can make other travel plans. Same thing, cancel booking mode. So as an end user, I want to cancel my booking, I cancel my reservation and get my money back, get my refund so that I can make arrangements for a different travel. Same cancel booking, but it is giving you some meaning what the functionality of this feature should be at a high level, right? So we call this way of writing this feature as called as this is called as user story. You are writing in the form of a small story. Hey, I want to cancel my booking so that I want to get my money back, right? And I can make some other travel arrangements in the form of a small story. So for these user stories, normally they do the estimation. Nothing but for a feature, no, for a search bar, for a payment gateway, right? So they will do the estimations. So for this, normally in traditional project management, we do the estimation at the start of the project in hours, in time, right? So to create a search button, it will take 12 hours. To create a payment gateway, it will take 24 hours. We do the estimation in hours in traditional project management. Unlike in Agile, we don't do the estimation at a user story level in hours. We do it at a different level, at a sprint level, at an iteration level, we do it. Okay. So how do you do it? How do you do the estimation? We use a term called story points. Story point. So to the user story, what you have created, you give some points, relative sizing. We call it as relative sizing. Relatively, based on the complexity, we give some points, right? For example, let us say if eating grape is 1, eating one grape is 1, right? What is eating apple? Anyone can give some number? What is eating apple? Any number. What is eating apple? 5. Okay, let us say 5. Right? So there are no units for this. 5 hours, 5 minutes, 5 joules, nothing. It's only the number what they give. This is called as story point estimation. If creating a close button is 1, normally you have a close button. The moment you close it, you click it, the window will be closed. What is creating cancel booking button? Right? It could be 12 or it could be 9. Right? You can mention it. Relatively, right? Normally, most of you might have conducted interviews or you might have attended interviews. HR will give you a form. They'll ask, in a scale of 10, how do you rate your technical knowledge? You'll say, hey, 6 or 7. How do you rate your communication skills? 8. There is no unit for that. 8 words per minute you are not saying. Relatively, you are giving some number. This number is called as story point. You are giving some points to that, to a story. That is called as story point. So in Agile, the subject matter experts, the developers who do the development, they take each user story and relatively they give some numbering to it. And this is done at a release level. This is done at a release level. When they come to the iteration level or the sprint level, 2 weeks iteration, or then they will take this user story called cancel booking, and then they will break down what are the activities we need to do for this. We have to create a button, we have to write this code, we have to do this, we have to do that. They'll write down, and then they do the estimation in hours. It means if you are starting the work tomorrow, today you are converting into hours. Before that, you left at a story point level with some the difficulty level. You give some numbering to it and just leave it like that, right? So there is no maximum point as such, Jyoti. Everything is relative. Everything is relative. So if I say if eating grape is 1, what is eating jackfruit? Entire jackfruit, the number might go up. If eating coconut is 1, what is eating jackfruit? Then the number may go down. So there is no maximum as such. So depending upon the complexity, depending upon the difficulty of delivering it, they'll do the story point estimation. We call it as story point estimation, right? So when it comes to story point estimation, so Krishna asked a question, estimation is given based on user story. Yeah, based on user story and depending upon the complexity, of that, how difficult it is to do, the effort it takes. So you said eating grape is 1, eating apple is 5, is the effort. So the effort you are taking to eat the complete grape to the effort what you put to eat the complete apple, right? And what are the different ways of doing it, giving story points to this? One is wideband Delphi technique. This is used in traditional project management also, but for a different purpose. So wideband Delphi is normally used to collect the opinion of subject matter experts. So you are also my subject matter experts. So I asked you, if eating grape is 1, what is eating apple? One said 5, one said 8, right? You are all my subject matter experts. So normally these story point estimation is done by SMEs, subject matter experts, the developers, people who are the beast of the burdens, who are working on that, who are the palanquin bearers. They do it, subject matter experts. So in wideband Delphi, the most important point is when you collect the information from different people, you maintain anonymity. This is very, very key in wideband Delphi technique. You don't let the opinion given by one person is made known to others. You maintain anonymity. So let us say we have Sachin Tendulkar, we have Dhoni, we have Virat Kohli, we have Anil Kumble, and I am the facilitator. So I'll ask a question, right, to Virat. He'll give some answer, and I will pass this information to Sachin. But I will not tell that Virat has said this. And I said someone has told that it will take for eating the apple is grape is 1, eating apple is 5. So I will circulate this information anonymously till the time I reach the consensus. I will keep on clearing the doubts. What are the doubts do you have? Right? Someone asks, hey, this apple, whether the skin has been peeled, or we have to peel the skin. Someone asks, should I climb the tree and get the apple and then eat it? Someone says, is it cut into pieces? Is it de-seeded and is given I should consume it? And what is the size of the apple? Is it a small apple or is it a big apple? So till the time I reach the consensus, I'll circulate the information, more or less close to the consensus. So initially Sachin told eating apple is 20, Dhoni told eating apple is 5, someone said it is 9, Virat said it is 2. So there is some lack of clarity in the requirement. What I will do, I will gather the information, I will clarify the requirements. So Sachin thought Maybe I have to climb the tree and get, then I have to clean it, then I have to peel it and eat it. So I say it's not required. It's already peeled, it's de-seeded, and it has been cut into pieces, and you have to eat it. So I'll clarify the doubts, and then I'll circulate the information among the subject matter experts. So normally what they do is they'll call all four, Virat, Sachin, Dhoni, and Anil Kumble. They give the requirement, and they'll ask to go away, think and come back. What would be the effort for this? So they'll think and come back, and then again the discussion will happen, the one-on-one. Why they take the outliers? Why someone said 20, someone said 2? There is some lack of clarity in the requirement. And then again, I will clarify as a product owner, as a customer, I will clarify all those doubts, and then again they go back and come. So at least everyone will say 7, someone says 7, 8, 7, right, 6. I will try to get them as close as possible, and I may take the average. So this type of techniques, or technique of rotating the information among the subject matter expert anonymously and trying to reach a consensus, this technique is called as wideband Delphi technique. Can anyone tell why anonymity is most important here? Why anonymity, not disclosing the names that so and so person has given this view or given this estimation? Why they maintain anonymity? Any views?
To keep the team motivated?
Not really.
To get the better estimations.
So people should not get influenced, right? So if Sachin says 20, oh Sachin bhai दिया तो सवाल ही नहीं, 20 हो सकता है. May not be the case. If Sachin says, that's not ultimate. He may be good in something. People get influenced. Let us say there's a fresher or less experienced guy and there's a senior guy. So the senior guy says, hey, the story point for this is 15. Fresher might be thinking it as a 5, or less experienced is thinking it as 5. He may be right. So he told 20, let me also tell 20. People will get influenced, biased. Right? So this technique is called as wideband Delphi technique. Wideband Delphi technique. And more or less, in the same way, we play a game called planning focus. You might have, everyone might have played these cards, no? Playing cards. We have 52 cards. Very similar to that, there will be planning poker cards. And normally we have numbers on it, no? 0, 1. Normally they have Fibonacci numbers, 1, yeah, 2, 3, 5. We have the numbers. So there will be people sitting around in one room, right? And all these cards are given to them. So the customer will tell the requirement, or the facilitator will tell the requirement. Based on their understanding, they'll choose the card. So let us say you're all having these cards. So I set the requirement, like eating grape is 1. What is eating banana? So everyone will pick the card, one number they choose. And as a facilitator, I'll give a shout at one go. 1, 2, 3. Everyone should show the card. So one has shown 2, one has shown 5, one has shown 12, one has shown 15, one has shown 20. Now, as a customer or a facilitator, I'll clarify your doubts. Why did you, normally they take the outliers first. One has said 2. If eating grape is 1, eating banana is 2. And the other person had the other extreme, 20. So what did you think? I thought it is a big banana like we get in Kerala, and it's a raw banana. And eating raw banana, peeling off and eating that raw banana is very difficult, so I have chosen 2 or 20. So I'll ask the person, why did you choose 2, the other extreme? He says, I thought it's a small banana which is right. No, maybe a size of my little finger. Then I will clarify. The size of the banana is 5 inches. You have to remove the skin and you have to consume it completely. I'm clarifying your requirement. So let us have this analogous to any IT feature, like cancel booking. So cancel booking, if close button is 1, what is cancel booking? Someone says 40, someone says 3, someone says 15. Now I have to clarify as a customer or as a facilitator. Why did you choose 40? So he says, cancel booking, there's a lot of complexity involved in that, because when you cancel the booking, you have to verify whether this person has booked the ticket or not. And is there any penalty involved? Probably penalties will be there. And this penalty calculation also should be done based on time. If the cancellation is done 48 hours before, it's a 10% penalty. Between 24 to 48 hours, it's 15% penalty. And before 24 hours, it's a 30% penalty. And once the flight departs, cancellation is not allowed. And the money should be refunded to the account. So we have to verify that customer account credit card or account number, and we have to remit that amount. And this penalty amount, it should be done here. So I've taken 40. So I'll ask the other person, why did you choose 3? He says, I thought it's only cancel booking. I'll create just a button, an empty button, cancel booking. There is no functionality, just button. So I'll clarify. No. I want all this. Not only that, I need other functionalities, like one email should go to the customer that his ticket has been cancelled. And the seat has to be released so that other passengers can book it. And one SMS should go to the customer that your booking has been cancelled. So then everyone will have a common understanding. Then again, I will play the second round. If creating close button is 1, what is cancel booking? Now all of you as a subject matter experts, now you have an idea how difficult it is with all this functionality what the customer is asking. Then again, I will give a shout in the second round. 1, 2, 3. You all show very close to 20 or 18. Some number you will show. At least close to that. 18, one shows 18, one shows 20. That's fine. You need not wait for all 10 subject matter experts showing 18 or 19. You should be as close as possible. If you want, I will take the average. I will do the PERT analysis, optimistic, pessimistic, 2 times by 6, or I'll do some average. I do it. So they play with it. Yes, testing effort should be included as part of sizing the feature. Yes, it should be done. So playing this way using cards is called as planning poker, right? So I will just show you how they play. These are the cards which I wanted to show you. So you'll have these Fibonacci numbers like this: 0, half, 1, 2, 3, 5, yeah, 8, 13, 20, 40, 100. You may have a question mark as well. If you are not clear with the feature, you can raise the question mark. Then I'll clarify if you have any doubts. Right? So they play in rounds till the time they reach the consensus. So this way of playing is called planning poker. This is one more method. There are some digital planning pokers also. Normally in a distributed environment where you have offshore on-site teams. So there is a software available with planning poker cards. People choose the card what they want, and suddenly they say submit. The moment facilitator says ready, everyone will submit the numbers there. So on the screen, they'll see the numbers. And again, they play the second round. Everything will be recorded. First round, what each member, what is their number. Second round, third round, fourth round, right? They play this way. So this is called as, this way of doing the estimation is called planning poker. Any questions till now what we have completed? Okay. And then how do they know which is exact near to exact number? I didn't get your question, Professor. I said they'll take as close
I
as.
mean, yeah, that's what. Yeah, as close as everyone's consideration, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, I got it.
See, for example, where do you live, Prasad? In which city you live?
Yeah, Bangalore.
Sorry?
Bangalore only.
Bangalore. So from in Bangalore, from MG Road to BTM layout, how much time it takes, right? So some says 25 minutes, some says 27 minutes, 26 minutes. These are all very close. If someone says 20 minutes and someone says 3 hours, you won't allow, right? So based on experience, they know how close it is. By virtue of experience, they would be knowing.
Okay.
Yeah. And the third way of doing the estimation is affinity diagram. Affinity diagram. Affinity diagram is, the name looks very fancy. It's nothing but grouping similar entities together is called as an affinity diagram, right? So normally for affinity diagram, they have a board like this. So what they do is they list down the requirements here. So payment gateway is one requirement. Add to cart is another requirement. Search is another requirement. Reviews is another requirement. Product catalog is another requirement. About us is another requirement. Right? They list out the requirements and they give like this: small, smaller, medium, large, largest. You can use the labels whatever you want, right? So now they use these stickies. So normally you have in office, you have stickies with gum on the top. You can stick to the wall, small stickies. So let us say this is payment gateway. Payment gateway, they write this requirement here. Where do you put payment gateway? Small, smaller, medium, large, largest. Can anyone tell payment gateway under what category it can fall?
The
Largest.
largest.
Okay. So I kept it as under largest. Then the discussion may happen. So Sadiq says it cannot be largest, right? It can be large. Or Shivram says it can be large because of this reason, because of this reason. Technically, discussion may happen. Then the Jyoti also may agree, and finally that they will move it to large, right? Close button. Close button. Ashwin, I will answer your question at the last. How release consists of iteration estimated? I will do that. The close button. Where does it fall? Small, smaller, medium, large, largest. Small. So I will put it under small. Save button, maybe smaller, right? Search option, maybe large, right? Add to cart, maybe medium. So I'm grouping all small under one category, medium under one category, all the features I'll be grouping. This is one way of doing the estimation. They use t-shirt sizing also. T-shirt sizing also you have in the same manner, right? You have S, you have M, you have L, you have XL, XXL. Yeah, they may use that also. So grouping similar entities under the same category, this is called as affinity diagram. Affinity diagram is nothing but grouping similar entities under categories. Just imagine an Excel sheet. In Excel sheet also you will have columns like this. In this column you mark it as small. This column you mark it as medium. This is as large. That becomes the affinity diagram. Right? So this is another way of doing the estimation. Likewise, smallest, medium, large, largest. There's no rule for this. You can mark it. Sizes, M, T-shirt sizing. The story point C, story point G, sorry, story user story C, user story G, D. And after thorough discussions, the user stories will be moved from one category to another category. Probably I have not answered certain questions because I felt they are not relevant now. Once I complete, maybe you can ask those questions during the question answer session, right? I'll answer them. Okay. So now your user stories have numbers. Your user stories have numbers. So during iteration, they take the user story. Cancel booking is the user story. They break down into small activities, and then they do the estimation in hours, right? So cancel booking, they do the estimation in hours. So what are the entities we have in cancel booking? Normally they do it in iteration planning or sprint planning just before the start of the technical work, the start of the sprint or iteration, that particular iteration of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, first day, right? They'll sit and they do this planning. So cancel booking, what are the activities they are supposed to do? First, they have to create the button. Then they have to design the button with various colors, give some text, right? And then they have to look into the functionality. They have to verify whether the user has done the booking or not. Really, did he book the ticket or not, right? So, and once the verification is done, then they have to check the rule book, whether it is a 48 hours before cancellation. If it is 24 hours, what are the penalties? That verification has to be done. And then once that is done, if it is a business class, customer says, hey, no penalty if it is a business class. So I have to ignore if it is a business class. I have to write the code accordingly, right? Then I will release the booking. Then I'll see that the after penalty, the payment is remitted to the end user account, right? So for this, it will take 1 hour. This it will take 2 hours. This it will take 4 hours. This it will take 5 hours, right? This it will take 3 hours. So total for cancel booking, it will take 16 hours. 16 hours to give this cancel booking. It will take 16 hours. So 16 hours is what it takes. So this is done just before start. Yeah, whatever, like including testing, yes, including testing, right? So this is how they do the estimation on an hourly basis before the sprint. We call them as tasks. Typically, these are the activities, actions that are required to produce this deliverable called as cancel booking. So till that time, they don't do in hours. They just estimate the story points, right? And now, how many people are there? How many people are there? How much ideal time is there? Ideal time is nothing but the productive time. You will have daily meetings, you'll have emails, clerical jobs. You remove on technical work. How much time you are going to spend? They take, right? And accordingly, the team will choose this. Okay, I can do add to cart, I can do payment gateway, right? I can do cancel booking. All these three, all put together as a team. We have so many hours. We have 5 team members. 5 into 6, 30 hours per week. 6 means 8 hours. There we have to discount the lunch time, right? We call it as an ideal time. Even clerical activities also you have to remove. Daily meetings, right? Non-technical work, clerical works, what we do. 6 hours, let us say on average, you are getting 5 members. So total 30 hours per week. So how many weeks this sprint is? 6 weeks. So 30 into 2 weeks, 60 hours as a team we can work on it. So this is taking 16 hours. Add to cart is taking 9 hours, right? Search is taking 15 hours. And reviews is taking 20 hours. So I will take this 4, 16 plus 9 plus 15 plus 20. So for this iteration, I will deliver these 4 features: payment gateway, add to cart, search, and product catalog, these 4 features. The rest of the features I will deliver in the next iteration. right? Remember, in Agile, it's a team who takes the work. There will not be any project manager who controls and who delegates in Agile. Teams are empowered. The teams choose, hey, based on our velocity, we call it as velocity. It means 60 hours we have. In 60 hours, we can deliver 40 user stories. Sorry, 40 story points. So these are 60 story points. And these are the story points you have here. So I will choose according to my velocity, my team's capability. The team will discuss and they will choose according to our velocity. Velocity is nothing but capability. How many story points as a team I can deliver? How many grapes you can eat in 1 hour? As a team, how many grapes you can eat in 1 hour? That's your velocity. How many story points you can deliver in 1 hour or in one sprint, right? Accordingly, they will choose. So this is how normally the estimations are done in Agile environment, right? And now let me show you how the entire release planning will be done. So let us say, let me take this example and how they arrive on estimating the number of iterations required, how many releases are required, right? Let me take an example and explain you. Let us say you are building an email system like Outlook or Lotus Notes, you are building some email system. So in email, at a high level, you have these features: organize email, manage email, and email you have calendar, manage calendar, and manage contacts, right? 4. All 4 should be there in an email system. So what they do, again, they will divide this into, normally this level is called as epics. This level is called as theme. So the big product is broken down like this. So the big product is, the ultimate product what you want to develop is email system, the entire email system, right? Under email system, you'll have a high level decomposition, and we call this level as themes or themes. Theme. Contact is one theme, calendar is one theme, manage email is one theme, organize email is one. Again, under that, they'll decompose. And the next level is called as epic, EPIC, epic. You have to excuse me with the pen, what I'm using, digital pen, epic. Under organize email, you have search email, file emails. Under manage email, you have an epic called compose email, read email, delete email. 3 epics are there under this. Under manage calendar, view calendar, create appointment, update appointment, view appointment. Under manage contacts, create contact, update contact, and delete contact. And now, for each entity, they'll have user stories. See, these are all user stories, right? For compose email, create and send basic email, open basic email, delete email is one user story. Send rich text format email with attachment. Rich text format is nothing but with open RTEM, right? Likewise, these are the user stories. And what they have done, they have prioritized these user stories. In email, which user stories are very important. So, if you observe here, these user stories, some related to organize email, some related to manage email, some related to manage calendar, some related to manage contacts. These are all high priority. So they marked it as release 1. Release 1, we need to have all this. And this becomes one MMF. I told you, minimum marketable features. If you have this, you can start using email. See, in email, there will be a lot of features which you rarely use. A signature, out of office. These are all of second priority. First priority is composing email, send email, receiving email, attachment, creating an appointment. These are all most important. With this, at least you can start using your email system. Later, you can use other fringe benefits, other features. So, release 2, some features of search email here. These are the next set of priority features, right? So in the first release, what they are doing, some part of these organize email, some manage email, some features, high priority features, the calendar features, contact features, they are giving it as a release 1. And in the second set, release 2. And the third set, release 3. Wonderful. Now, release 1, what user stories you want to deliver, release 2, release 3, they are ready. Now, they do the story point estimation. So, search by keyword, right? So, search by keyword, you are all subject matter experts. So, you are telling me, search by keyword RAM, it should take 6 story points. This is 9 story points. This is 20 story points, right? This is 3 story points. This is 7 story points. So likewise they do it. And in release 1, when you aggregate this total, the story points, let us say you got 220 story points. In release 1, you have to deliver 220 story points based on the difficulty. You are marked like this. For every user story, you give some number. You give some number, right? So you have aggregated all this and you got 220 story points. Now your team velocity based on the historical information, your team can deliver 20 story points per iteration. 2 weeks iteration based on their previous capability, based on their previous work, every iteration on an average they are delivering 20 story points. Now tell me how many iterations will be required for this release? How many iterations are required? Your team velocity is 20 story points, 20 SP, and this is 220 SP. How many iterations are required for release 1?
11.
11 iterations are required. 11 iterations are required because 11 into 20, 220 story points. So 11 iterations are required for this. Each iteration is 2 weeks. So 22 weeks is what this release will take. Let us say this release is 180 story points. This release for the user story is 180 story points. How many iterations are required? 9 iterations are required, right? Because your team velocity is every time you are delivering 20, right? And here it means 9 iterations are required. First release 11 iterations, second release 9 iterations, third release 120 story points. 6 iterations are required. Right? This is how they do the estimation of number of iterations required for a release. And they will know each release, the release date also. 22 weeks from now. Today is July 3rd or July 4th. 22 weeks means it's almost 5.5 months. So December, mid-December, December 15th, we have the first release. That's how they do it. So you may have a question, what if team is convening for the first time? We don't know their previous velocity, right? Capability. First time we all working together. They do pilot sprints. 3 pilot sprints they do, sample sprint. Real work they do. Though sample means it's not a dummy work, real work. They will see the average velocity. In 3 iterations, how many story points as a team you are able to deliver, and they take that as a benchmark and they do the further estimations. Sprint is iteration. Suresh, in iteration, in sprint are one and the same. In Scrum they call it as sprint. In other methodologies they call it as iteration. Okay, now let me come back to the questions. Sanjit asks, if different tasks and the cancel button takes altogether 16 hours, doesn't it mean estimation of cancel button story is 16 hours? No, they don't. It's not that. It's a relative sizing. They don't take it in hours, right? As I told you, a scale they use, some point scale they use. How do you manage backlog in sprint? Same thing is at a sprint level, whatever the user stories you have agreed, that goes into sprint backlog, right? And during the sprint or iteration, you are not allowed to change the user story. That's how they manage. I hope I answered your question. Does whole Scrum team needs to be involved in release planning? Yep. It's a context. Like we subject matter experts, they may involve. It's not that the entire team needs to involve. But if the entire team is there, there will not be any conflicts in the future. It's ideally the entire team should be there, but it's not mandatory.
In each Scrum, Ram, I have one question.
Yeah.
Suppose we have divided work according to the team capacity based on their performance. Okay, suppose one member are not able to perform and deliver on time, then how do you deal with this in the Agile?
In Agile, everything is a team effort. So as a team, they work together, right? And if one member is not performing, other members will help, right? And maybe the team member will learn from this sprint, and he may become perfect in the next sprint.
Okay. So we should be careful to deliver on time at any cost, right?
Yes, we cannot stretch anything in Agile. If you want to review the work if required, instead of 5 user stories, deliver only 4. But you Agile, everything is time bound, so you cannot stretch. You cannot say, hey, almost 98% done. Give me one more day, I'll complete it. No, it's not allowed.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Ram.
So what happens if
sorry, go ahead.
What happens if they could not deliver within the sprint?
That particular feature that will be added to the backlog again, to the to-do list. Backlog is nothing but the to-do list, which you have to do it. So, and they will deliver as part of next sprint.
So, sir, this is Suresh here. Sir, what happens when the test team says it's not been passed from the SIT, System Integration Test, and it is being held within the test team? So, what happens to the sprint?
There is nothing called testing team in Agile. All the team members, Agile teams are cross-functional. All the teams will be in the all the specialties will be in the same team. You have the designer, you have the builder, you have the tester in the same team. So Agile teams are like cricket teams. No, in cricket you have batsman, bowler, wicket keeper, all specialties in one team. You cannot have all 11 wicket keepers, 11 batsmen in one team. Very similar. Also, you have teams which have specialties sitting in the same team. Unlike in traditional project management, development team sits in a separate building. We have a separate team called testing team. We both never see each other. We'll send the finished, develop the product to them. They do the testing. That doesn't exist in that.
So, how do we test, sir? Basically, everything has to be tested. So, what is the role or fit the testing role, testing function in a sprint?
Normally in Scrum, there is nothing called tester, developer, nothing, designer, nothing. Everyone is called as a developer there. So specified roles in Scrum, they are not present. In some Agile methodologies, they are present as tester. Tester is called as a tester, but he is not outside the team. He is part of the team. In other methodologies.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
Thank you.
Yeah, if I missed out any questions in the chat, I was in the flow, I might have missed certain questions, you can ask me now. In the meanwhile, it would be great, if you can leave us a review, online review. I'm sharing in the chat window whatever you felt like, right? Your feedback will be very helpful. If feedback is positive, that helps, that gives a moral boost to conduct more webinars of the sort, right? Or if there is something to improve, that will help us to improve. Okay. So now let me go back to the questions here. So estimation takes place before release planning and not during sprint planning. See, Ashwin, I told you Storypoint estimation will happen during release planning, not before, during release planning. And our level estimation will be done at sprint planning. So estimations will happen at both the levels. The release level, you just give some number to it based on the complexity, but you do a detailed estimation in hours and minutes during sprint plan. So Manju Singh says, in continuation to my previous question of Scrum team in release planning, if SME, BA, etc. are there, there's a release planning. How about story point estimation? SMEs only will do it. SMEs only will do it, Manju. They will do the story point estimation because they are the people who face the music. They know the final nuances of that, how technically, how difficult it is, right? So SMEs, any team members who can add value, they can involve in release planning and they can do the estimate.
Hi Ram, this is Sudha. I have a question here. Hello.
Yeah, Sudha, please go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering if the estimation is done just prior to the release planning, just prior to the sprint, then how is the cost allotted for the project? Like, how is the cost estimation done with the story point?
So story points estimation is done at a release level only. So if you have observed here, so at the start of the release itself, we have decided what are the user stories will be delivered in release 1, release 2, release 3. So release 1, we calculated how many iterations will be required. Release 2, how many iterations will be required. Release 4, how many iterations will be required, right? And for each iteration, you know how many people are working, how many hours they would be working. If it is a T&M, based on that, they do the billing to the customer. If it is a fixed, for each iteration, we go for a fixed. So there are total 22 iterations you have to work. Each iteration, I'll pay you $1,000. 22 into 1,000, $22,000 will be the 22 cost of the project.
Ah, okay, got it. Thank you.
When we are talking for relative estimation, is there any specific reason to estimate tasks in absolute unit or hours? No, relative estimation we don't do it in hours. We do it only in points, story points. We do in hours only at a sprint level. And please validate my understanding of Agile and advise me on deviation. He asked me in private, you can see the FRD is created based on DRD, and I believe user stories are created based on FRD. User stories are based for each sprint. DA will educate developers and testers about the requirement and then estimates are provided down the sprint team development. Release plan is created based on the estimates provided on each sprint. No, first they do the release plan. Each release, what is that you are going to deliver, right? Then based on that, they decide on number of sprints required. So they take in functional requirement documentation, DRD, these things, and from that they develop the user stories. And based on the prioritization of user stories, they sit with the customer and they will ask the customer, release 1, which user stories you want, which are of high priority for you. Release 2, which are the user stories you want. Release 3, which are the user stories you want. And also come out of that mindset of doing this type of setup. In Agile, especially in Scrum, there's no role called business analyst. From the customer side, there will be a representative sitting. This customer is called as product owner. So he will liaise. In fact, there is no mediator like BA or anything. So the customer will give you, the product owner will give all the requirements, and they do the customer will do the prioritization. The product owner will do the prioritization. Based on that, they will sit. The team will sit and discuss release 1 what they want, which features, set of features they want, release 2 set of features they want, release 3 what set of features they want. They do a thorough discussion based on the prioritization and the business value, and then they do the estimation. Can they answer your question? Okay. Any other question?
Just in case the customer does not have the business analyst there in their side and they are unable to provide the requirement and they are requesting us software partners to provide this do this exercise. So how do we accommodate that requirement phase, requirement analysis phase?
In Agile, even customer knows that his involvement is very important or very vital. right? So in Agile, customer involvement is very, very important. We have a principle in Agile that customer is part of the team, right? Only if the customer believes that in Agile that it helps to build a good product, right, with the MMF, only then normally customers also involved. So it's a rare case, practically customers say, hey, I can't involve, you only come with the requirements. It's a rare case. We are talking about the best practices. There will be always ifs and buts. What if that happens? What if suddenly customer dies on the day? Next day, who will do it? These are hypothetical questions. In special conditions, they may arise. In such cases, we only will do it, and maybe we'll go to the customer. One of the representatives there, or some end users, we may get it done. But that is not the right practice to do. Customer involvement is key in Agile. In fact, customer is not a visitor in Agile or not a guest in Agile, unlike in traditional project management. In traditional project management, customer comes once in a month for UAT, like just how Modi or Bill Clinton waves his hand and they go off. No, customer is part of the team. He should stay in and out on a regular basis, should stay in touch with the team. That's what we assume. Only then Agile will be successful. If not, Agile will be a failure. One of the reasons why Agile fail is lack of perpetual customer involvement.
So, sir, you mean to say that where there is a corporate organization, who has got a center of excellence for testing, who has got a center of excellence for QA analysis and all, as well as a center of excellence for business analysis, they won't be able to do a perfect scenario for Agile specific to our an agile scrum model. They won't be able to run a project, you mean to say, right?
Center of excellence is different, I think you're getting confused. Center of excellence is there will be a small department or a body that is formed to improve the capabilities in that area. So center of excellence for QA in an organization means that body, they conduct trainings, they do a lot of activities to improve the QA activities in that organization and all the projects. That is called center of excellence. So they're improving the excellence of the people. That is center of excellence. Teams are different. Testing team is different. DA teams, they work in silos. So that environment will not prevail in Agile. In Agile, as I told you, teams are cross-functional. Each team should have the designers, programmers, testers, right? Everyone should be there in the same team. There is no separate silo team called as testing team. There is nothing as such. What you are asking, center of excellence is different. Center of excellence can be there even in Agile environment. Center of excellence is just like your father who wants to hone your skills, or maybe like your guru who wants to hone your skills in that particular area. So project management center of excellence means they want to improve the project management skills of the people in the organization. QA center of excellence means they want to improve the quality assurance skills of the people working in the organization. So that is a separate entity actually. Did I answer your question? Or
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So just to reiterate what we have gone through, the first step is to prepare the release plan, and after that we have to describe the main target output, what you are trying to achieve. Then brief and break down those as major tasks. Those tasks, then take the details of those tasks and make it as releases. Then schedule the sprint.
So tasks are at different. Only we leave it as user story level. So you have a theme level you will divide, and then at an epic level you will divide. Then user story level. Tasks you do it. You will take this user story and you break down into tasks at a sprint level. You take this user story and break down into tasks at a sprint level, right? So we break down the product into themes, into epics, into user stories. And these user stories, we do the prioritization. User stories are nothing but features only. This feature, we do the prioritization. So the first set of prioritized features will be given as release 1. Second set of prioritized features will be given as release 2. Third set of release 3. While the release 2 is on, customer thought, I don't want this feature, I want a new feature. Yes, you can do it. Right? A customer thought this is the third release, but later he realized that it should be in first release, you can bring it. So the prioritization may change at any time. For example, you thought payment gateway, you wanted to give it a later time, because payment gateway, without payment gateway also you can do the e-commerce business. Cash on delivery, EOD, right? Customer will buy and they will pay in cash, right? That is the reason you kept payment gateway in release 3, right? But suddenly demonetization has come. Then there is no cash available. Then the payment gateway will go to the release 1. Prioritization has changed. Yeah. So that's how they do it. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right. So again, your request to leave you the review about this session. Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and we'll catch up shortly with a different webinar. Every month we have webinars on different topics on data science, Tableau. A lot of webinars will happen on PMP, ITIL. A lot of webinars will happen in XLR. So do attend these webinars, free webinars. It will be a knowledge sharing for both of us. Right, gentlemen. Thank you very much.